you actually made a decision, right? You made a decision when you was about 18 years old, and you said either I'm gonna do what everyone else is doing, or I'm gonna do something different, and you chose to start traveling. Plug.
YouTube. Today, y'all, I have an interview with a business owner who is currently building literally like the first content creation center where they do like editing, content creation, all that good stuff. But he'll be breaking down his life journey on how he actually built his business from scratch and is currently doing it in his life stories. But for those of you who are taking advantage of the visa opportunities with my visa agency, we literally just had a talk yesterday at lunch, and he was saying that some of y'all are actually going through the process. So I'm super excited for y'all going through that. If y'all have any questions, definitely tap that link in the bottom. But for those of you who actually complete the visa, you get your visa. If you do want to, we can definitely do like a one-day trip and we can do a whole vlog. I think it'll be dope. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. All right, y'all. I got the owner, Isaac, here about RealSpace. Go ahead and tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hey guys, my name's Isaac. I'm from the UK and I'm the owner of RealSpace.
All right, so he's gonna tell you more about it, but first we're gonna jump in here.
Just recently added some new seating down here, and I'm happy to say that it's getting a lot more use these days. People are sitting down here and working. This is more of the chill area. People can, you know, do their work. They can chat to each other, grab a coffee down here. That was probably the #1 thing when I first opened. I got like seating that was not that comfy down there.
So when did you actually open RealSpace?
I opened about a year and a half ago.
A year and a half
almost
ago.
2 years,
Okay.
yeah.
And what is you actually, like, what's the services y'all provide?
I mean, these days it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
It's really redefined itself in many ways. It's been a process for me to listen to the community, kind of get feedback from everyone, learn what they want out of the place.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's got me to where I am now. Got a bathroom there.
Yeah, you got this special drink menu.
little
So this
bit,
is a
yeah.
co-working space as well, so people can come down here, use the first floor to
Yeah.
work in as well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So people can work down here, but this is kind of the most social area now. I kind of like to split it up. We built this glass to do like more soundproofing.
Gotcha.
So down here people can chat a little bit and like, you know, get to know each other, the other members and stuff. And then the upper floors is a lot more serious sort of workspace now.
Got you. All right, we're about to jump
yeah.
into those upper floors now.
Just doing a little walkthrough with TJ about the space.
Are you?
Hey, how are you? Good to
Yes,
see you
Sam.
again.
What's your name, sorry?
Mickey.
Mickey, Isaac.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. What was your name?
Oh, Tata.
Data, Isaac.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. Yeah, we're just doing a little tour of the space. Yeah,
Have fun.
see you in a bit. Thank you. And then, so yeah, this floor is kind of like co-working space. You want to look over here? We've got like a little reading spot, phone booth. No one's in there at the moment, so yeah.
Okay.
People can do like phone calls and stuff in here if they want to take a.
How hard was it, like, decorating this place, like with all the, you know, you got RealSpace, the letters on this joint.
The initial design was much more designed for socializing. I didn't even know where it was going to go. I knew I wanted to build a community around something and see what people wanted to use the space for. It was a lot more empty here.
Yeah.
It was a lot more echoey, like it wasn't as filled up with
Right.
things and spaces, because it was more of a blank canvas. So the process was fun, but it was also like kind of maybe inefficient at the beginning, because I'm just like, okay, let's try this, and then no one uses it, or loads of people use it, so I'm like, okay, let's do more of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind
Okay.
of listen to the feedback. of
Experimental.
people. Yeah,
Every
yeah,
step.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were about to open up this door, right?
I was. This is the most popular area for just like, you know, quiet co-working, so I won't talk too much when we go in here, but generally people like to come in here to focus. Yeah. So we've got some like adjustable desks, monitors.
Got the lights going on with the Mario.
The gaming room. Ooh. Someone's having a meeting in there.
All right.
I'm not allowed in. But that's the entertainment room. We'll take a look at that later.
And this view right here, bro. So what was all this going on right over here, you know?
I've got no idea. It was like kind of, it's weird. It was like that when we first moved in. It was like really sort of overgrown like this. And then like a year ago,
It's like they started construction and they just...
Yeah, they cleared out all of the trees, like everything. It was completely empty. And then they just let it grow again. So, gotcha. I mean, it's kind of cool. More co-working space in here. This is like, again, more of a quiet, focused area. Yeah. We've got monitors for people to use. And yeah, generally people aren't talking so much up here because they just want to like crack on with their work. Got a rooftop up here. We sometimes do parties up here. Halloween's coming up, so we had a huge Halloween party last year, had like over 100 people come. It was pretty wild, but honestly, the direction the business has gone in is so much more like work focused. The parties are cool and everything, and once in a while it's nice. Bust out the speakers, have like people come up on the roof.
But that's not the overall theme of RealSpace.
The theme these days is much more about like elevating the members, helping them out with whatever they're working on, doing like, you know, work focused events and content creation events. And so, yeah, the customer base has changed a lot. And I'm really happy about that. It's really defined what I see the place as being. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with having fun now and again. But it's been a journey for me personally, but also for the space. And I've noticed how I'm less going towards those things and more towards these things. And simultaneously, the space has gone that way too.
Gotcha. With that said, we can jump into the interview.
Let's do it.
What's up, family? I'm back with an interview for y'all today. Now, as y'all can see, I'm not in my typical interview setting. We're in a podcast room because we're at RealSpace. But I actually met Isaac a couple months back, really organic, genuine. He actually invited me to a content creator invite meeting. And we definitely hit it off from there. And I wanted to do a collab with him. So here's the collab. He will be talking about his journey to Thailand and also how he's currently building RealSpace. I'm going to go ahead and let Isaac introduce himself.
Hey, thanks for the introduction. My name's Isaac. I'm from the UK. I'm the owner of RealSpace. And I've been in Thailand for just over 3 years now.
Fire, bro. So what part of UK are you from?
I'm from a place called Brighton.
Where is that? I'm like, how can you describe that? How far north, south?
It's south. It's south, okay. About an hour south of London, okay. And it's on the beach.
Got you.
But it's not like a Thai beach. It has stones.
Okay.
And it's cold and not that nice.
Okay, so you grew up there your entire life?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And then when did you start like venturing out your hometown, would you say?
Probably when I was about 18, when I was old enough to leave. I kind of started traveling and doing stuff. Went to university, and then as soon as I finished university, I kind of had two options, like go and get a job in London and do that thing, or do something different. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did something different, and I'm glad I did. But yeah, it feels scary to do that, and I wasn't sure. And I think my family probably would have been like, don't do this. Mm-hmm. Do the safe option where it's like, 9-to-5 job, good money, you live in London. It's kind of like, same as everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
But I didn't end up doing that, and I'm really glad I didn't.
For sure. So for 18 years, that entire time, you never like ventured out in terms of like taking a trip to Asia, taking a trip to any other parts of Europe?
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I went on little trips here and there around Europe, but not like, I'm living somewhere else. Okay. I never did that.
Yeah, but you got exposed a little bit, so that got you really ready to go once you hit 18, when you had that freedom.
True. I did like couch surfing, a website where you can basically request to stay with people that you don't know, but it's a bit like almost Airbnb with no money. And you have a profile, you say what you like doing, you message people and say, hey, I think we're getting well. Could I crash at your place when I'm coming through this city? And I had a few people to stay to make my profile look good and get good reviews at my parents' house when I was 16, 17.
Oh, wow.
Which they had mixed feelings about, but they were okay. The people who stayed were super cool. Yeah. They were all young students who basically wanted to save money and meet people that lived in those towns. So it wasn't weird. It was just people that wanted to hang out, and we got on really well. I made some friends that I'm still friends with now. All those years ago. And then I went traveling around Europe, and I stayed with them.
Gosh, so at 16, you started this hustle to get people on your parents' couch. That's correct.
We
right?
gave them a bed. We had a spare bed.
For sure.
But
like
yeah,
that,
I think I knew that was a good way to get some references and build up a good credibility. Because it's hard. It's much easier to host people than to stay with people.
Yeah.
Because obviously, people are way more picky about who stays with them than when they're going and staying in other countries. They're like, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, but a fun experience, and definitely got me like excited for traveling and kind of meeting new people in unique ways and stuff like that.
And from the experiences, you also said that you met these people and you was able to stay with them as well in their other countries. So that was a plus. So you're saying that when you met them at like 16, 17, that you was able to do the same thing over there.
Yeah, quite a few of the people that stayed with me ended up I went on a road trip around the States with a guy. He was a videographer and super cool guy. He stayed with me randomly, and then I was like going on a trip around the US with my friend from school, and he was like, "Oh, I'm moving from Detroit to Arizona, like a big old," and he was driving, so he was like, "You can come along."
Yeah.
And we went on this road trip with him, and it was absolutely
And you
wild.
met him in your hometown?
In the UK, yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy.
That is crazy. So that was your first experience of America?
Yes.
Okay. And
Loved
what
it.
did you think
Loved
of that?
it. Oh, we had the best time. Like, people, obviously, traveling and you meet Americans, they're the Americans that travel, and like, they're used to non-Americans. But in America, there's a lot of people that have never traveled. They don't have a passport. Like, you go there and you talk to them, and they're like, "What? Like, y'all from Europe? Like, what y'all doing
from Europe?"
Yeah, like, they call it Europe. Europe is one country, I think, to a lot of Americans. So they're like, "Oh, y'all from Europe?"
Same.
And it was so much fun. They're so friendly, like so nice, and I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that for it to be such a kind of welcoming place. I don't know about now. It's been a while since I've been back. But
Sure. But now you're in Asia, So what was that journey like, moving from America, visiting America, being around in Europe, and then coming to your first Asian continent?
I mean, big culture shock at first. I went to Vietnam, first place, and loved it, but it was like, oh wow, this is insane. Like, people live so differently here. And I mean, Thailand, where we are now, is obviously a bit more chill. I think they're more used to having foreigners here, so it's more set up for foreign people to live. But Vietnam, a lot of parts, they don't really have many foreigners. It's getting more and more built up. It's going more towards Thailand, but when I was there quite a while ago, some parts it was kind of like people would look like, be like, oh, like what are you doing here? And but they were nice, they were fun, and it was nice to have that experience where you're just in a foreign land, kind of out of your comfort zone, and just have to go with it. And that taught me a lot of like not holding on to our cultural norms and being like, oh, I need to do things this way because I'm used to using toilet paper. I need toilet paper.
Like, adapt and change.
You start spraying yourself, and then you're like, hold on a sec.
This is better.
This is better.
Yeah, but you would have never knew if you liked it. You know, if you had to try it first. So always give it a chance. Just don't judge it by the cover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And my friends were like, what do you mean they don't have toilet paper in the bathrooms? Like, stuff like that. Like, well, what do you mean? That's not right. I'm like, but try it and then see. But I think that's a good kind of
indicator,
and like an analogy for a lot of things where you're kind of like, oh, we've never done it that way, so there's no point trying it. And then when you do try it, you realize, oh, things just because they're different over here doesn't make it worse.
That's the thing, y'all. You're hearing Isaac talk now. Like, you just can't cancel something out just because you've never done it before or you never experienced it. And that's the whole point, is to experience it. So, the biggest question I know a lot of people who are watching this right now is like, why Chiang Mai, Thailand, of all places? Not only to live, but you're also building a business here.
Yeah. It's a really good question. I think it was like a process, a journey of like figuring out why I want to be there, kind of all these different factors. And it definitely wasn't just like, I'm going to go from UK to Chiang Mai and I know why I want to go. It was like, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, I'm going to see, this place is good, this place is better, like I really like this thing, I really, kind of don't really vibe with that, but this thing's good. It's like you're figuring it out as you go, and Chiang Mai is definitely not for everyone, but it definitely was for me. And I kind of realized after I was here for a little bit of time, like, yeah, this is the place to be for me. It really makes sense in so many ways. And yeah, there were other cool spots on the way, but I would say the reason I ended up sticking here was the community. There's a real sense of community here, which, yeah, you've obviously experienced to some extent as well now. And that's what holds people here is like, you make friends, you kind of get to know people, people help each other out. There's this kind of, which sometimes I feel like weirdly, even though a lot of us are foreigners, we wouldn't be doing this back home with each other. We wouldn't be like kind of being like, oh, hey, like, let me help you out with this thing. Let's collab on something. Like everything's like way more like money based back home, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of nice that the foreigners here have adapted to some extent to the more like Eastern values of like you kind of help each other out, you do things because you care about your community and being part of something, not purely just like what's the bottom line, what's in it for me. And I prefer that. I really prefer that. So yeah, that's a big factor is community. Food's amazing. Love the food. Love Thai food. Thai culture's great. Friendly people. Like Thai people are very welcoming, especially in the north, especially in Chiang Mai. And yeah, like it feels like you can integrate here. You can be part of the place, and you're not like this outsider. In many other places that I was in Thailand, I felt like I'm never not going to be a tourist here. I could live here for 5 years. They'd still see me as a tourist when I walk into a shop. I mean, I learned a little bit of Thai, but regardless of that, just the initial impression of everyone is like, because most people are tourists. So it makes sense. It's not unreasonable to expect that. But here, there's so many people that live here that you talk to people that are local, and they don't just go, your money, give me money type thing. Like that's all you are to me is you buy something, I sell you something. It's like they'll chat to you, treat you like you kind of live here more. And I love that. Like that's a big factor of why I end up sort of sticking it out here more than anywhere else.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that watch this content as well, you know what you like, you know yourself, and you know what you want to look for. So I'm glad you were able to experience that, adapt, and get used to the water and no paper towels, right? So that's great. So the people watching as well, what are some things that they should prepare for before coming here, especially when they're thinking about starting a business?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I didn't get to your question before about starting a business as well. You mentioned that. But yeah, in terms of preparing for like living in Chiang Mai,
Because the
living in
preparation is
Thailand.
definitely different than you trying to set up shop somewhere else.
So true. Yeah, like I think there's positives and negatives about opening a business in Thailand. I think that the positives are way less red tape, way less money. So, they will let you experiment more, try things out. There's like not quite such a high ceiling and barrier to entry, because in the West, in the US, in the UK, you try something. If you fail, you're done. Like if you invest
It's
all
crippling.
your savings, you are just out of the game. You're bankrupt. You're all in. If you even want a chance to compete, you've got to go there. Because if not, there'll be 10 other people lining up to do that, and they'll beat you at that game. And so if you don't gamble, you don't risk it all, you're likely to kind of not compete. And if you do, there's obviously still a massive chance that you'll fail. Part of making a successful business is failure, and it does seem like in the West we don't really allow people enough breathing room for that. Like a lot of kind of people's businesses do fail, and then they're just too scared to go back, or a lot of people anyway, or they're just even too scared to start because they're like, I can't afford to lose it all. So I get it, and I would have that mindset back home. I wouldn't try something like this. No way. Like, it's too high risk. The barrier to entry too high. The amount of investment you'd need back home would be just astronomical, and it stifles creativity, because you don't want to try something creative, because most more creative style businesses just aren't very profitable, so people just won't do them back home. But here, you can have a go. Yeah. So that's the positives. It's great for giving something a go. The negatives is there's less money to be made. Like, people's spending expectations is far lower. The kind of like expectation on how much service you may provide to how much people will spend, is far greater. People will want a lot for their money here, which is fine. It's good. We all do. But if you're expecting to like make it big, especially in Chiang Mai, I would say it's unlikely, unless you sort of struck gold in some way. It's just probably not going to happen, not straight away anyway. So lower barrier to entry, but probably less return as well. Slightly lower risk, slightly lower reward. I would say, obviously, just as a foreigner starting a business in another country, Thailand wasn't too bad, but there are complications. There are kind of hoops to jump through, which are just confusing as a foreigner that you don't understand. But, that's not to say that I didn't get a lot of assistance and support from Thai friends, Thai lawyer, like all of these things. And they were super helpful in helping me set everything up. So I wouldn't say it was like a really, really like painful, process. I would just say there are unexpected things that you're like, oh, okay, that's different. But nothing that can't be sort of resolved by just learning the process.
And just to follow up with that, I know Chiang Mai has seasons, like peak seasons for tourists, for people traveling.
Yeah.
How does that affect what you do here, and how do you try to mitigate some of those things?
That's a really good question. I think Chiang Mai is known for its kind of low season, for its like smoky season, for kind of these periods where there's a bit of an exodus, and
you feel it.
You feel it. You see it in every sense, on a personal level, on a business level. You feel this kind of just like everyone's out. And the first time, obviously, it was like, oh, this is interesting. Where'd everybody go? Like, okay.
Because you've been here for a year, right?
Yeah, I've been in Chiang Mai for like closer to 3 years, in fact. So I've experienced it, at least twice now, but as a business, just once. And you roll with it. Like, you learn to adapt. You start to, it's weird to say, but you can also see it as a positive, because that's when you consolidate, you have ideas, you come up with stuff, ways to kind of survive, the long winter. And in those periods, you're most inventive, because you have less distractions. Now we're coming up for the high season. I'm just like, go.
Creative. It's just everything got to be going.
Yeah, exactly.
All cylinders.
So everything is firing, and it's just amazing, because you have so many more customers. You've got people walking in every day, new people, showing them around the space, more people using the studio. Great for kind of the business standpoint, but for my brain and my like kind of resources mentally, not so good, because I'm in like adrenaline mode every day. So it's I kind of don't mind those quiet periods where I just stop and think and go, that's probably when I have my most kind of important and like, pivotal ideas, is in those times where I go, you know what, I think we should go in this direction a little bit. Like the whole studio, all of this, that was in those times where I'm like, how can we attract people all year round? And how can we utilize this base of content creators that we already have coming down, and we did last high season? So that's when I have those kind of like, oh, like this moments. And if we didn't have those low seasons, maybe I would have those ideas, maybe not. It's positive, it's negative, but also has some silver linings to it.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, and you're making sure that you utilize every opportunity.
Yeah.
I do actually want to say this as well. Like, living in Chiang Mai in particular, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and you have the choice to say yes or no, because a lot of stuff will happen. A lot of business opportunities can happen, and like he says, a low cost to entry, so you could pretty much do everything. It's open season. but definitely choose what you actually enjoy. And I know, Isaac, what you're building right now is something that you actually enjoy, and it's important for the community, right?
Absolutely.
You actually made a decision, right? You made a decision when you was about 18 years old, and you said, either I'm going to do what everyone else is doing, or I'm going to do something different. And you chose to start traveling. Now, my question is, how did you actually start financing this? Did you start a business, or how was you actually doing that?
So yeah, I had a variety of businesses growing up. I kind of always loved doing stuff for myself because I didn't want to work for anyone else. I'm not good at working for other people. With people, good. Below someone, not so good. Doesn't suit my personality. So yeah, I started a property business with my best friend when I was like 20 years old. I'd saved up some smaller businesses I had before that, just to get the first place, just one rung on the ladder. And we basically renovated them ourselves, rented them out, and just started building from there, using the money we made from that to then get another place and sort of leveling up like that. It was a lot of hard work. And I started when I was very young. I was like, 20 years old or something.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah. Because the funny thing is, when I was super young, when I was like 12, 13, whatever age, I really wanted to be rich. I was like, I just want to be rich. Because...
What made, why rich?
I think I didn't, my family are not one sec. My family are not very wealthy, so they're not on the street poor, but definitely growing up I was always kind of wish I had more things, more stuff, because I could see my other friends would have they'd buy stuff for them and blah blah blah, and had more these sort of superficial belongings, the newest games console, stuff like that, and I was like, I want that. So I would start these little businesses. I'd sell stuff at school. I sell sweets and chocolate and Coke at school.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, I was just I want more money, so I'm going to make more money. I'm not going to look to my parents to give it to me. I know they don't have that much money, so I don't want to ask them for more. Could feel bad. So I was like, I'll just make it myself. So that was when I was 12 or 13. Started doing that. And then started fixing people's Xboxes and stuff like that when I was 15, and everyone at school I'd always just do these services for. And because I was I want to be rich, I want to buy everything for myself. I don't want to have to ask anymore. Even from that age, that was my mindset. And then sort of started that property business with my best friend. That was the first time I got a taste of real money. Before it was always this is good, this is money, so I can buy a PS,
it was just enough,
2 or whatever, PS3.
Yeah, you wanted surplus.
And then I wanted bigger things and everything, and the business went very well. I still have that property business now. And at some point, and then I started traveling, because of the property business I could have as mainly a passive income. I'd go and do hands-on stuff in the UK when I needed to, but most of the time I realized I could just be anywhere, and there's no point being in the UK, paying UK prices for everything when
it just didn't make sense to you.
Exactly. Yeah. I could be in Asia spending
Thai
baht, Vietnamese dong, and the pound is going so far over there. Right. So I'd earn my UK money, spend it abroad, and I was having the best time, traveling, living the dream, everything. And then at some point during that process of sitting on beaches, drinking a lot, partying, buying stupid stuff, I was this is actually a bit boring. It's weird because most people are my friends be I want to live your life, it's so fun, so cool. And was for a year or two when you're in your 20s and you're doing this stuff, super fun, super good for your ego. You feel great. I'm doing so good. Look at me, everyone. And then at some point you're hold on, I'm not even enjoying this anymore. Maybe externally it looks people would be envious, anything like that. But I realized I'm not actually having fun. I'm just doing it for the sake of it because I can now. And then I was like, I want to do something interesting. I want to do something that isn't just a means to making more money. Everything before, it was like, I'll take this money, I'll put it into this because I know that this will get me more money.
You're leveraging.
Yeah. And it was great. Like, I mean, that is essentially what people do. That's capitalism, and, you know, it works. But what I realized is, well, if you never buy anything with the money that you actually like, that you actually enjoy doing, what's the point in having it? Like, if you just use it to get more money, and at no point, especially when you're younger, in your 30s or whatever, 20s, if at no point you actually use the money to do something you like, it's a bit of a waste of time. And what was it all for? You look back no one looks back when they're like 70s, 80s, 90s, when they're kind of, you know, drifting away, and they go like, like, I wish I invested a bit more of that money. I wish I put that, like, I wish I'd earned a bit more interest on that. Like, no, they go like, oh, I wish I'd traveled more. I wish I had done that business idea that was cool and interesting, or like, you know, those are the thoughts that I would know that I would have anyway. I imagine a lot of people do. Very few people, I imagine, are like, oh, I wish I just had like 20% more money now, like when I'm 80. Like, for what? What are you going to do with it now? Like, this is the time, I feel like, to actually do something interesting. So I had that mindset shift probably in my mid to late 20s. And I was like, okay, because I got to the point where I wanted to be, where, like, you know, the 12, 13-year-old self, if they were having a conversation, I'd be like, well, I did it. Here you are. Like, this is what you wanted. Why aren't you that happy? Like, and I think, yeah, that was when I realized, well, why don't I do something that I would make me happy, that would be interesting, where I maybe lose money, where I don't do something that makes money. I just like it. And yeah, that was a big shift for me. And that's when I sort of started having these concepts for this place. Not specifically, didn't have a location, didn't have even a city, nothing yet. But I was like, that would be nice. What about if I open a business and I just, you know, waste some money? That was my mindset. I was like, let's waste some money on something that I like, instead of wasting money on things that don't bring me much. Let's waste it on something that I actually would learn something from, and it'll be an experiment. And I was so okay with it failing, like, because I was like, I'm putting this money here for this to fail. I'll have a really interesting experience for a year or two. I will kind of learn so much about myself, about growing a very different type of business that I've never done before. It will inevitably probably not work that well because, you know, I don't have that much experience, and I'm okay with that. And I've made my peace with that now. Anything more than that's a bonus. That was kind of my mindset going in. And yeah, so I started out and I was just doing everything, however, just like having fun with it, kind of getting ideas from different people, chatting to people that I'd met in the community. Yeah, Chiang Mai just became the right place for it. And that's why I kind of started it here. And yeah, I kind of didn't really have a exact direction I wanted to take it. I knew I wanted it to be like something community based, a place where people could come, do their work, meet other people with similar interests. It'd be natural to talk to each other. You know, there's facilities that allow people to do whatever it is they're doing online. Just a hub, basically. But I didn't know exactly what that looked like until I kind of did it. I kind of there isn't exactly a playbook for something like that. So you just have to give it a go. Initially, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like a hostel. But I was like, but hostel is just, people stay really short term, and it has that short term vibe to it, and it's not really, people meet new people and then they all leave like within days instead of like months and years. It's within days you'll kind of all have this turnover. So I was like, no, not a hostel. And that's when I kind of thought, okay, maybe more like a co-working, something like that, but with a more community focus. And initially it was very fun. It's very like, you know, we had a lot of people come down because they like playing games. They like kind of partying a bit more. Kind of, it was super social and vibrant, and I loved it because I was just like in the center of this kind of chaotic but like very unique space, and everyone was talking about it a lot, and that was really cool. And I really enjoyed that first 6-month period because it just kind of grew really fast in a way I didn't anticipate. And I was like, oh, it's kind of feeling like it's not going to be a failure. And I was like, damn it, like I'm not going to learn a thing. But at the same time, I was obviously very touched that people really liked the concept. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I've sort of touched upon something that people want. That's good. But at the same time, I was like, this isn't exactly how I wanted it to be. Like, it's cool, and it's like people are enjoying the vibe, but is this sustainable as a business? Is this, because people would come, people met so many people, like in terms of like friendship groups were formed, maybe people started dating each other because they met here, all of these different things, and that was great. I was really happy to have connected those people, but then they've kind of found their people, and then they'd actually like kind of move on. And I was like, I was happy for them because I was like, oh, cool, you've kind of made your friendship group. This place has served its purpose. Now we need to do that for a new group. Because I guess the community was just built around meeting new people. And once you've met new people, you don't really want to just keep doing that indefinitely. You've kind of made your friends now. You don't want to necessarily keep going back to a place to meet new people. And I was like, oh, that's not really that sustainable. If that's the turnover again, I want to build something more like long-term again, and people are forming a community around something that they would want to keep sort of coming back to. And so I was like, I need more of a niche, I need more of a function for these people to be here in the first place, rather than the function purely being meet anyone for any reason. And that's when I started to focus more on talking to the individual people, the individual customers that come here, the members, and figuring out what they need for their work, for their businesses, for their life in some ways. What's going to elevate them? How are they going to grow as people? Not just like, oh, these sort of like, I'm just going to make new friends, meet new people, which is important for everyone. I see it as a really important function, but it can be more than that. You can kind of, especially as a kind of co-working space, I think you can deliver a lot more value to people than that. And so that's when I started thinking about, upgrading the workspaces, figuring out what do you need, what kind of tools do you use in your day-to-day working. Because at the beginning, I'd never used a co-working space. I didn't know. I was like, I didn't really see the value in it, so I didn't really think about it that much. But then I realized, okay, that would actually be really useful for these people to have these like, you know, more quiet spaces or more like dedicated workstations, or, you know, proper desks and, you know, comfortable seating and monitors, all these things that I've never used, I never needed to, but for them it's really valuable. So listening to the feedback was important, building those spaces. And then we had a lot of content creators coming down just because I made content to promote the place. Didn't really have much experience doing it, but I had fun with it, and it kind of got people's attention. The content in particular of like the vibe was a bit different to probably other co-working spaces. And then they started coming, and I sort of meet a lot of content, and I was like, what do you guys want? And a lot of them said a studio, and I was like, oh, okay. Have zero experience with that, so I'm gonna do it. And then just with a lot of people's input and help, kind of built this studio that we're in right now. It's, you know, still been a process. I'm still learning a lot, but I feel like we've come a really long way with like the quality, the type of, you know, the caliber of content creators we've got coming down now is like, I just never would have dreamed. I never would have thought I'd build a space where people, you know, had someone sign up today with over 1 million subscribers, and he's like asking me for like stuff about lighting, and I'm like, me? Like, I just, you know, I only learned about all of this in the past year. And honestly, at the beginning, I knew nothing. Like, I just really, but I kept asking questions to people. I kept trying to learn by having a barrier, and then being like, okay, how can I overcome this? How can I get better? This piece of content is not good. How is it better? How do I make it better? And now, yeah, like people are busting out this like really high quality stuff. People are growing. I'm seeing this growth from all these people, like, which is amazing. People going from like 0 to like 20K followers, 20K to 50, like all these growth kind of things that I'm seeing in different areas. People are making money, like, and I'm like, oh, I was part of that. I helped them do that. They're starting their first podcast, or they're doing their 100th podcast, or they're doing like, they have a business in China and they sell products and they're filming the sort of promo videos here. All of these people that I never really thought I would work with, and now I'm like working with them and I'm learning from them, they're learning from me, and it does feel like a community. It does feel like we're building now in the direction we're aligned to the path that I wanted to find, that I've been looking for since opening. And I'm like, oh, okay, I think this is it. I think we're on that track now, and now I just build from there and just keep going down here. And yeah, we had the content creator meetup, which you came down to. That was so nice to see people just mingling the other content creators, and I was like, okay, this is what this space is now. Like, this is where they find each other. I mean, and I want to also start doing that more with the people who just do normal co-working as well, trying to help elevate them, help them grow. How can I we do different events now to facilitate, co-working, accountability, things like that. I want to go even further into that, into like anyone who comes here, we talk about their goals. Why are you here? What do you want to achieve by using a co-working space? And how can we help you get there? That's value. Like, that's what people really, want deep down, is everyone wants growth from whatever they're working on. So that's been a big focal point for me, and that's something I'm just kind of keep trying to focus on. But yeah, it's been a journey, and I'm happy to have got here.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that he said as well, y'all heard him, he definitely leveraged every opportunity that came his way to put him in position to do the things that he wants to do. And you figured a lot about that stuff in your 20s while you're on the beach, and you're able to figure out a concept. And the biggest thing is he just did it, y'all. He saw what he wanted to do. He didn't really know in reality, in the physical, exactly this playbook to do it, but you figured it out and you did it. So I want to take a step back and talk about those first 2-3 years of being in Thailand and that process. You're on a tourist visa, you're trying to get a visa, you're trying to start a business as well, you're trying to get a living. Like, there's a lot of new things that you're experiencing all at one time that I know is different than your other traveling experiences. Shed some light on that story.
So yeah, it is obviously, like you said, it's very different when you're like in the mindset of like, oh, I live here now, compared to like, I'm going on holiday to Thailand for a couple of weeks. So there was a bit of a shift, because initially I was in the holiday mindset. I was like, well, just a bit more traveling, like, don't mind if I do. And then I was like, hold on, like, this place is cool. Like, I could see myself more than a month here. And yeah, like, obviously you're on the tourist visa. They changed the kind of rules on that here and there, but generally speaking, it's like a month or 2, and then 2-month extension, or maybe for people from the US, it's 3 months. Yeah, it's not too hard to get, but you can't just do it forever. You need to figure out a different visa option. There's education visas if you want to learn Thai or Muay Thai. There are kind of work permits you can get if you do open a business. I got a smart visa. So that is for opening a startup here, a specific types of startup that are eligible for the smart visa that you can apply. And I managed to get that, which was really great. So that gives me 2 years, and I can extend for another 2 years. So yeah, it means that I can have this kind of more long-term residency. I would, consider getting a work permit as well. On top of that, there's so many options that you can kind of undergo that works. If you if you're serious about living here, there's always a way.
Yeah. There's always a way.
Yeah. Everyone figures it out, and sometimes it's a bit of like this and that, but you can get there.
Yeah.
So I would say, just speak to the right people, talk to people that are here. That's the main thing. Come here on the tourist, figure it out from there. People are so friendly. People are always willing to like help you out. And if you just ask people questions, they'll normally point you in the right direction. So it's never going to be a massive issue. I think Thailand's pretty good for that in general.
Yeah. So you got on the smart visa.
Yes.
And you needed a partner. You needed to start building a team.
Yeah.
So I know you have a team of 4 right now.
Yeah.
So what was that process like, finding this team, finding your partner?
I would say just in terms of like building a team. So we started really small and kind of started with just me and one Thai employee, who, I was so lucky with her because I didn't really know loads of people here. Had a few friends. I kind of had to take a bit of a risk because I was like, I've got to employ someone. It can't just be me, and I need help. I need assistance and very basic sort of stuff, cleaning and like making coffee for customers, but not that we had many customers at the very beginning, but just kind of arranging stuff, talking in Thai to people, all of these kind of pretty simple tasks. And I was like, well, I'll just have to get someone. So one of my friends, I was like, hey, like, you want a job? And I didn't really know what her credentials were, but I didn't speak much English, but she needed a job. I needed an employee. That was about it. That was like the kind of interview process.
All right, so you've been building RealSpace for this past year now, and you've been in Chiang Mai for 3. Where do you see the future of RealSpace in addition to Chiang Mai?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I've thought about a lot, and it's something that's changed in my mind. Constantly still is, but in my mind now, because I've got to this point where I'm like, this is the right track. We're going down the right path, and people are responding really well. The like uptake on our new kind of packages and our new kind of offerings is so good. And I think because of that, my mindset now is to, one, go deeper with the sort of customer growth focus. Like anyone who walks through the door, basically figuring out how do we help them get to whatever point they want to get to. And that doesn't have to just be content, but it can be, obviously. That is a big part of our niche, but I know that we have people that do other things that could use content or could just use some facilitation to like growth and whatever they want to work on. So that's a big movement of like kind of where I want to go, of my mindset, where I want to take the business. How to get there exactly, I'm still in the fine tuning at the moment, but also I think, I love Chiang Mai. Like I love it so much, and I would absolutely pick it again as the first place. But for me, there's a couple of, obviously, like I mentioned before, caveats to Chiang Mai. The ceiling is not that high in terms of, where you can take anything in Chiang Mai. It's never gonna like be like massively, and the irony being, I came into this business without any ideas of like I want it to be a big money maker or like want to be, but now that it's got to where it is, I can't help but see more potential in this concept. And so I'm like, well, if I do want to keep it going, keep it growing in the way I want it to, the natural thing to do would be to open up a second location. There's potentials there. There's Da Nang. I still love Vietnam. I miss it, and that would always be a cool place to do something. So somewhere in Vietnam is a potential. There's Bangkok, obviously the big city. That's when you really, again, you're sort of more going back to Western risk reward sort of standards of like, okay, that would be a big step and potential massive, but also potential for loss massive.
High risk, high reward.
Exactly. Yeah. Bangkok would be cool. Also Samui, I love Samui. That would be really good. There's a lot of content creators there. Samui, Phuket, loads of content creators, and they're doing their travel videos and stuff like that, but there are more like kind of sit down interview content creators and all kinds. And I want to work with all kinds. I want to help them grow. And yeah, that there are all these sort of options that I have in my mind now of where to take it. And if I did it again, it'd be cool to start with this pre-existing knowledge of like, well, you want to get here, so how do you get here? Okay, these are the steps. Like, the first time is always going to be like the most inefficient time. It was very iterative, the process to get here, but next time I won't need to do all that.
You already got the script.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exciting, and I could do it even better because I build it with this vision in mind. These are things that I'm open to, but I'm not like in any rush. I'm just loving how things are with the place now, here with these people. So I'm not like, oh, I need to expand, I need to franchise or anything like that. But that is the natural progression. If I am gonna take it somewhere else, that's where I'll go.
Okay, so what do you think about Chiang Mai though? Like, how do you think Chiang Mai is changing over time? So the past 3 years you've been here, I know you've been changing and growing with the audience that you're catering to, but Chiang Mai is growing and changing too. How are you see these changings like going in the future in regards to Chiang Mai? Because you know we might be going to a more content creation hub. I know people come here for more Sabai versus than in Bangkok. But you are getting a lot more content creators here that you see the most because you are the spot of content creation. So are you seeing more of that content creation in Chiang Mai, and do you see it progressing even further?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, which is what's kind of kept me here and what's making me still excited about this business as it is right now, is because there's always developments and change, and Chiang Mai in particular attracts people that think about outside the box and want to do things a bit differently. And it's got all these people that, you know, they're making content, they're growing their, you know, all of their profiles, all of their kind of platforms are just expanding. And the more that there's those people here, the more it will attract those people, because they'll see that. I mean, I meet them all the time, and you know, when you tell other people about it, they're like, oh, really? In Chiang Mai? Oh, okay. But it's super cheap there as well, and there's got all these other good things. Yeah, that makes sense now. There's all these like low-key kind of like big names just roaming about Chiang Mai, and I'm like, oh, you live here? And yeah, like I think it's like one of the like worst kept secrets that Chiang Mai is actually such a good spot. Whether you're starting out on the content creation journey, whether you're pretty established, there's so many boxes that it ticks. One of my really good friends, she obviously has come here not knowing anything about it, I just recommended it. She's a really big creator, and she was just traveling all over the world, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like, she's like, oh, this makes sense for me. And didn't even know about its reputation. But yeah, like that is a bit of a revelation for some people. And it's only, I feel like the secret is only going to get out more and more and more as people see that. So the future of Chiang Mai is, I think, this hub of like wellness, kind of, it's got the mountains, it's got all these kind of like quite spiritual aspects, the temples, yoga, meditation retreats, all of these things. But then it has this other thing that's happening, and that I've seen happening more and more since I've been here, which is like you've got all these content creators. So yeah, it's kind of nice to be sort of there at the forefront of that, and seeing it grow, and even maybe to some extent molding it a little bit is really exciting.
No, that's fire, bro. And with that said, y'all, we're going to go ahead and conclude this interview here. I want to say a special thanks to Isaac for taking time out your day to sit with us and share your story and your journey of RealSpace. So with that, y'all, we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, man.